Today I have two words for you. Baked rigatoni. How can you possibly go wrong? Two words that spell deliciousness. And in this recipe, my dear friends, I am going to make for you a baked rigatoni that is vegetarian. Sadly for my carnivore friends, there is no meat in this, but I promise you, you will not be left shorthanded on taste or flavor. So to get us started, two things. Number one, I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And number two, I've already started boiling my pasta. You don't need to sit there and watch pasta boil. And I've also pre-grated my mozzarella. That's right up there with watching paint dry when it comes to things to watch. We're gonna start off with one onion that we're just gonna chop up. All right, so now that our onion's chopped, a few glugs of olive oil into our pan. We're gonna need about maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons. I like to go generous always on the olive oil. It's one of my things, and I think it gives it an excellent flavor as well. So, onion, first thing, goes in, and they can barely start hearing the sizzle start happening now. Get that going. The next thing is garlic, and just thinly slice it without losing a thumb or a fingernail. Perfect. That will go in there as well. All right, so now that our onions are well on their way to cooking down, they're goldening up, they're sauteing nicely. The next thing I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. Not too much salt because we've got like 3 or 4 cheeses going to this. The next thing that's gonna go into our saute mixture is 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes, along with another 28 ounces of water that's gonna go into this. This recipe is one of the simplest recipes to make. It only involves a few ingredients, huge on flavor, totally huge on flavor, and it's basically very easy to put together. So now that our sauce is coming up to a boil, the next thing we're gonna add are a couple of these little gems of flavor, my little basil flavor bombs. To my sauce, I'm also gonna add about a teaspoon of dried oregano, Greek oregano. But it's gonna add to the flavor profile of the sauce and give it that zestiness, that warmth, and that earthiness we want. Now this has been going now for about 3 or 4 minutes. The next part of this is our grated Parmesan cheese. This whole recipe calls for about ½ a cup or so. In the sauce, I wanna add probably about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup, more or less. And that goes in there, and let that kind of work its way in there. And the next part after this, which is the ricotta, that's gonna go in here as well. And for this, we're using 450 grams of ricotta, and that's just gonna go in there as well. And this will just melt in there and become a whole bunch of goodness. Now, I'm telling you this right now, this is definitely not swimsuit appropriate, but I will tell you that it's gonna be so damn worth it, believe me. So now I'm gonna turn this off, and the sauce is ready to go. I'm ready to incorporate everything and put it into my baking dish. So very carefully, without burning yourself or anything else, you're just gonna put this in nice and let this go. Now our pasta is done actually a little al dente, not much, but a little bit. And you want the pasta to actually cook in this sauce and absorb some of this deliciousness. So I'm gonna take this pasta now, and I'm gonna add about 1/3 of our mozzarella. Our grated mozzarella is gonna go over this, and it's gonna get stirred in. Just like that. Look at all these strings of cheese just I just want to add a little bit of parsley. And this goes in at this stage, just enough to give it a little bit of that pickup in flavor. It adds a certain amount of freshness that you're going to absolutely love. So that goes in there just like that. And give that a quick stir. And then lastly, the only thing that's left to do is a little bit of mozzarella and Parmesan on the top. This recipe is also very easy on the pocketbook. You've got basically pasta and a bunch of cheeses that you put together, and you can feed a whole bunch of people on the cheap. One of the last things we need to do is pour our mozzarella, or spread our mozzarella over the top of this. And because I'm into olive oil porn, I'm just going to drizzle a little bit on top of that, and we're good to go. So I'm going to pop this into a 400-degree oven for about 30 to 45 minutes, or until the cheese is melted, bubbly, and a little blistering, and I'll pull it out then and we'll take it from there.